Autumn, a forest in Germany. The soldiers, American.
Hey, Fish, did you get the extra buck?
2 days ago, these men were back home in Texas. Now they're here in central Germany. For if the Cold War ever turns hot, places like this would be a critical part of NATO's front line.
Let's go! Let's go, Pino! Y'all ready? Let's pull it.
Alongside the soldiers, to defend this line, come tanks, trucks, aircraft, and ships. A constant movement of men and machines from NATO member countries, all en route for central Germany. Why? What's it all for? My name is Robert McNeil, and I'm in the presentation room at NATO headquarters, Brussels, Belgium. NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, shoulders collective responsibility for Western defense. Under the terms of the treaty, an attack on any one member country would be considered an attack on all of them. Yet NATO has no army of its own. It is a political body in which the members combine to form a defensive force to protect the North Atlantic community. This presentation room is where, in the event of a crisis or a conflict, delegates from member nations would be kept informed. Today, war seems unthinkable. Yet those who represent our collective defense, those who work here at NATO, live with that prospect day in and day out. They are pledged to defend an area stretching from way up here in northern Norway to the western approaches of the Atlantic, from the Bosphorus to the Pillars of Hercules. An area of thousands of square miles of land, sea, and air space. Yet for all that, there's still one area that is more vulnerable than any other. Central Europe, the old battlegrounds of yesteryear. This is NATO's most critical spot. For facing Allied forces across the West German border sits the largest arsenal of offensive weaponry the world has ever known, all in the hands of those who have continually believed in a political aim of world domination. Since World War II, the Soviet Union and their alliance, the Warsaw Pact, have steadily increased their armed strength. Almost everywhere, NATO's land, sea, and air forces are outnumbered. In Central Europe, they face odds of 3 to 1. Yet those who sit here do not fear the intentions of those in the East. Let's just say they have a healthy respect for their capabilities. And faced with such growing might, they know that NATO cannot drop its guard, especially in Central Europe. This area on any day of any year is constantly defended, but from time to time, combined exercises are needed to ensure that defense.
Check in. Extending right hose.
Left observer.
Now.
From Canada and the United States fly combat aircraft, some destined to defend NATO's icy airspace around the Arctic Circle. Across the seas to the ancient ports of Ghent in Belgium and Rotterdam in Holland come thousands of tons of equipment to aid the land forces. From the United States come troops, airlifted from as far afield as Texas and Washington State, to rapidly reinforce their Europe-based allies. Hundreds of tanks, trucks, aircraft, equipment, and men, all there to defend Europe. In all, a mighty international effort. We're going to show you just 4 days of this effort. 4 days in autumn in which the Alliance displayed and tested its own capabilities, its own defensive strength. The Rhine has for centuries been Europe's great water highway and barrier. From Caesar to General Patton, armies have halted by its banks. But off the Autobahn rumble amphibious barges capable of bridging such an obstacle.
Anchor kommen.
In all, a combined force of 3,000 German and American troops, plus vital equipment, crossed the rising, swirling Rhine in under 2 hours. For the need to reinforce, redeploy, move at speed is vital to NATO's well-being.
Ready? Up, down, forward, there. Take her out, Mark.
On various airfields in Central Europe, armorers prepare their aircraft for a major air exercise.
Ready, Colonel? Up, down, forward, there. Down and out.
One in which Belgian, British, Canadian, Dutch, German, and American flyers take part. Such is the pace of modern warfare that quick, responsive air support is essential to check any armored assault. Once the target tanks have been sighted, markers are dropped. Then come the bombs. Finally, a rocket attack. Part of the exercise concerns this Hawk missile battery. Its task is to identify and intercept attacking aircraft. Through intelligence and radar, the Hawk missile battery knows the attacking aircraft are en route, so speed is vital.
PAR transmission go to local. Roger. This is Alpha. Lock. Track Alpha 101. Fuel leader pressure over 2,000. Manual is not closed. Verified.
Modern combat aircraft are highly maneuverable. They fly very fast and, to dodge missiles, very low.
Attention in the area. The base is under exercise. Alarm red. Attack is all personnel take over.
Some of the attacking aircraft get through and head towards USAF Bitburg, an airfield sited near NATO's smallest member country, Luxembourg. Here, an exercise to test the airfield's readiness against a surprise bomb and gas attack.
You can't use him. Go get a couple of those splints. Get ready to dispatch him to the hospital. A couple of splints. On the runner. All right, push him in. First time, Mr. White. See what's been done first here.
Attention, all personnel. Those individuals designated as casualties report to the nearest treatment facility for medical screening and decontamination.
Okay, I got a contaminated one on the left side. She's also cut.
How many casualties have you got?
As was reported, there are 19 casualties.
Dead or?
Dead.
And what about wounded?
I don't know at this time.
For the infantry, urban combat is, and probably always will be, one of the toughest tasks. The clearing of pockets of resistance in built-up areas reveals an ever-changing pattern, one that challenges the foot soldier's skills. An abandoned village in Upper Franconia sets the scene for such an action. The task, to clear and secure the village.
Platoons abreast. With the second platoon making the main attack in the east.
Such realistic training, known as free play exercises, are designed to test a soldier's initiative and leadership. Here, the attacking force is not told where the enemy is, what weapons he has, or where he will strike next.
Put down 60 over there. That man can move the man out first. Give me Joe. Watch out, they got simulated. Move out. Get up there, Joe. Get up there, Joe. Get him down!
Such free play exercises are the closest thing to real war and are played accordingly.
We lost 3/4 of our men out here today.
The same realism applies to those who tend the wounded. Here near Ulm, southern Germany, a special train, manned by German doctors and nurses, simulates medical treatment and evacuation from the battle area. This is part of the Fulda Gap, where the East German border is only 55 miles from Frankfurt. It is rolling tank country, ideal for a blitzkrieg assault. To counter such a move is vital to the Allies' defense in that area. Here, an armored task force moves off for a counterattack. Tanks and personnel carriers manned by British, American, Belgian, Canadian, and German troops. In this combined exercise, the German army conducts the helicopter-borne assault.
How's the situation now?
Right now, it's going pretty well between TAC air and artillery.
Put them in the wood line!
American troops, in a more forward area, move for cover to hold the enemy.
What's your position here?
I'm a company commander of Alpha Company, 2nd Battalion, 30th Infantry.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to train my soldiers for real war. Well, we pulled in here about 4 o'clock this morning, and we consolidated this area, and we expect a penetration sometime this morning. There's been buildup. We've received intelligence reports that the enemy massing their forces opposite this position, and we expect a penetration. We don't know when, but we know it's going to be today.
What will you do when it happens?
We're going to stop it. We have to stop it. This is a critical area. If they seize this terrain right here, then they seize the whole line. The whole line would collapse if they took this particular terrain here.
Some 5 miles to the rear, an artillery unit provides cover.
Give us some Pro Jones coming up here. What do you say, all right? Ready, fire!
Now, artillery has this plot pointed as 18 over here. The toes set in basically right over in here, just on the, about 200 meters down from that hump there.
Is that it sticking out right there?
That should be it, yeah.
Okay.
It's an old saying that it never rains in the infantry, but on the infantry. And overnight thunderstorms bring a taste of typical Central Region autumn weather.
Sir, want an apple?
Yeah, thanks.
Up front, a patrol comes under artillery and small arms fire. Again, small unit leadership and initiative are put to the test.
The area that I'm getting worried about is up on the north here. If they flank us to the north and cross the core boundary and make it, they've outflanked this whole area. So I think what we're going to have to do is set up a strong point up on this high ground, which will control the slot, and I think we can hold them there. The situation is that we're being hit with a enemy force that we think is the advanced elements of a motorized rifle type unit, estimated regimental size.
Elsewhere, the main force prepares to engage the enemy.
On the other side of that hill?
I don't know, but we're prepared for what's over there on the other side of that hill.
Do you think they've got more than we've got there?
It's hard to say. You never know what's over on the other side of the hill until you reach the crest of it, and then you scope it out on the other side of the hill and see whether you need more reinforcements or not. If we do, we got them behind us. This ain't like Vietnam. It's a hell of a lot bigger than Vietnam.
This is Mike 1-2, over. See if you can get attack helicopters and artillery support in that area. Over.
Thank you, Jerry. What are our options on this thing, Bill?
Sir, the battle began this morning with a heavy artillery duel up in this area. We've been holding pretty well in the 1st Brigade sector with the covering force still relatively intact and holding well. Over in the 3rd Brigade, we're on the fever, and all the forces seem to be doing a pretty good job of maintaining the fever. The problem is in the 2nd Brigade area with the chemical attack. We've been forced to pull back. We've had heavy casualties in the 1st of the 50th, 2nd of the 50th. The 3rd of the 81st is pretty well chewed up. What we've done is move the 4th of the 81st into a position where they can be committed to reserve. My recommendation is that we attach them as a reserve to the 2nd Brigade and put the Cobras up front, sir.
How many of the Cobras we got flying today?
Sir, we've got 25 up.
Okay, I think we need to put them all at once.
Yes, sir.
How quick can we have them on station?
Sure, it'll take us about a half hour to crank it
Okay, let's move out on that right away.
The Cobra tank-killing helicopter, flying at treetop level, is just one of the means of impeding any armored attack.
Do you think a real war would ever happen?
I like to think that by doing exercises like this, by keeping ready, by showing how ready we are, that it will never happen. If we ever stop doing this sort of thing, then I think it would happen.
British soldiers, part of an advance force, prepare to move up. All along the front, there has been progress. Progress that leads to this. The Danube, like the Rhine, has for centuries been a formidable military obstacle. Crossing such a river under combat conditions demands a coordinated effort involving air support, helicopter assault troops, and amphibious equipment. Here, a German heliborne unit moves in to secure the far shore. Combat engineers in small assault craft speed across with bridging cables. During such a crossing, men and machines often have to bunch up, making an obvious target. So, to clear the far bank, tanks swim across and establish a bridgehead. Finally, an amphibious bridge is laid. And over the Danube rolls the urgently required buildup of combat power. Following the combat vehicles come the support elements. Supplies ranging from food to ammunition. From medical aid to a replacement tank dropped from the skies. Well, there you have it. 4 days in autumn, in which one critical area of NATO's responsibility, Central Europe, was put to the test. Elsewhere, on, in, and around NATO's southern and northern flanks, other soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines flexed the alliance's defensive muscle. Thousands of men, hundreds of tons of equipment, scores of takeoffs, tasks, missions. Men and machines that represent a mighty commitment to Western defense. A commitment also to life, history, standards. Peacekeeping demands an all-out effort, one involving continuity. It began when the parents of these children were children. For over 30 years, NATO has kept the peace in Europe, a peace maintained by men and women from the North Atlantic community, all dedicated to one common cause, to defend and protect the very way we live.